So hello everybody and welcome to In My Mug episode 203 on Monday the 1st of October 2012. I am your host Stephen Layton and today I am excited to bring you another interesting and amazing coffee. But before we do that, we have a format now and now it's time for the news! So, Android app is live and ready to download, as I promised you in last week's. People who follow the blog will already know, but go take a look at the link on the screen. It is a start. It is not necessarily the finished item, but it's great to actually have something to show with you and share with you after all this time. So, Android app is here. And this coming week, we've got 2 Nicaraguans to add to the site. 1 natural, 1 washed. And it is phenomenal. Really excited about sharing this natural with you, and I think you're all really going to enjoy. The funky lovers out there, I think, are going to enjoy it. So that's going to be going on the site this week. And Colombia's are here. Picture on the screen now of the delivery. Expect lots of interesting, and I mean really interesting stuff in the coming weeks. And that was the news. So. With the format, we have 20 seconds, which is quickly becoming a favourite part for watching me stumble and ramble and trip over my words. So, here goes with 20 seconds. So the 20 seconds this week isn't going to be on Nicaragua. I've decided I'm going to do it on limoncillo. So, here we go, and we are off. Finca Limoncillo is a farm that we bought from since 2007. First of all in the Cup of Excellence, and then its standard lots. Each year progressing on that. So this year we've had different processes, we've had different varietals, and we've had 9 different coffees from this farm, from a total of 13 across all of the farms that they own, from 2 countries. That was 20 seconds. So one thing that will never change with the format is that we will talk about the coffee. So we should do that now. So this is, as I said in 20 seconds, another of the limoncillos that we bought this year. This is a new one for us though, and the first time that we've seen it, although I had tasted it quite a while back. I think it was 2008, and been pestering to get it ever since. It's a longberry varietal, also got a nickname of Java Nick, which I'm not quite so keen on, but this does make it quite different. I'm not going to go too much into the farm, but a little bit about it. So it's located in Matagalpa. It's 171 hectares in the most amazing location. It has 9 waterfalls on the farm and has been owned by the Moresh family for the last 50 years. Moresh family you'll know about. We talked about them last week on Honduras. So I say I'm not going to spend lots of time on that. But what I am going to talk about is this varietal, the longberry. And there's a kind of story behind how this longberry came to be in the possession of the Moreshes and how they planted it. So the story begins back in 2001, where Erwin and his father, Dr. Moresh, were coming back from visiting some of their farms in Nicaragua. And they drove past this place called the Uni Cafe, which is an experimental station in Junatillo, where they did lots of experiments with coffee, different varietals, things like that. And there was a man on the side of the road kind of waving his arms around, flagging them down. So he stopped, because that's what Dr. Moresh does. I actually saw that firsthand with him this year when we were driving along. People will wait, they'll stop and talk, very well known in the area. And this guy was saying that this Unicaf had gone bankrupt, and his payment was to basically take stuff from there. And would they be interested in helping him by purchasing this stuff? Erwin was kind of like, no, but Dr. Moresh was like, yeah, we'll buy them. So they bought a couple of beat up shovels and a bag of seeds. And on this bag of seeds, it was about £20 worth, and it said on there, Java. So they chucked them in the back of the pickup truck, drove off, thought no more about it, until they got back to the farm. And he was showing this, Dr. Moresh showed the seeds to the supervising agronomist on the farm, who had previously worked at Unicafe, and she was really excited. She was like, this is stunning. Like, what the experiments they'd done with it, the coffee was amazing. It was delicious, but it wasn't very productive. It wasn't very resistant to disease. It struggled to grow. But the studying that they'd done on this coffee back in the 80s was that it was really exciting and really interesting coffee. They've done some genealogy on it, and basically can be traced back to the longberry varietal, which has its feet firmly planted in Ethiopia. So they planted some, they started to run some experiments, various altitudes, different processing methods, and kind of got it to where they've got enough that it could be production. Entered it in 2008 Cup of Excellence, not from limoncillo, from Mamma Mina, which is another farm that we have, and it came second. And it has an amazing cut profile and is really interesting. And the bean shape is very, very much like the Ethiopian longberry. There's a physical difference in the bean. Take a look at your beans and you'll see that there's very different shape to them, to typical coffees. So we should dive into the map bit. I wish I'd saved one on limoncillo because we've done that many limoncillos this year, but it's going to be a brand new map bit on Finca Limoncillo. So yeah, here it comes.
It's the map bit, no expense spent. It's the map bit.
And here we are. We're going to zoom out from Has-Been Towers and across the ocean to Nicaragua. Nicaragua is somewhere we've visited a lot in My Mug recently, just because we've had so many amazing coffees from there. The Moresh family really do look after us with some stunning, stunning coffees, and we're super lucky to be working with them. You can see here that as we zoom down, Limoncillo is in Matagalpa, which is a big region of Nicaragua. What you can also see is, if you kind of look to the bottom left of your screen, you kind of see where the farm starts at the bottom left, but if you see the part where there isn't any kind of growth, this is part of the farm that isn't planted on. So if you look for the greenery, that pretty much is what the farm is. You can also see just below the marker, there's some like houses and kind of like places where you see people are living. This is where the workers live full time on the farm. It's a very, very big farm, so there's a lot of people living in different spots. And those little houses that you can see are where the workers are. And there's also a school and a hospital and like health, well, like a hospital, but like healthcare. And they really have like a whole community thing going on there. So that was the map bit. And we follow the map bit with Roland's Daft Fact of the Week, which is in danger of becoming not daft at all, but interesting. I really, really liked last week's Honduras fact. So yeah, here's Roland's Daft Fact.
Roland's Daft Fact of the Week.
The longberry varietal is very typically found in the Harar region of Ethiopia, which is to the east, and shares many characteristics with the Typica varietal.
Roland's Daft Fact of the Week.
It's nearly time to make some coffee, but the Wheel of Doom, before I turn over descriptor scale and pin board of doom, need your help. So last week I threw Lungo over there, so we have a gap for it here, which is replaced with AeroPress with the disc. So let's spin this round. Where it stops, nobody knows. Absolutely nobody knows. Okay, and today we have the V60. Phew, that's easy. That's much better than last week's one. So V60, I will be brewing for the Wheel of Death. Before I do that, just go through the numbers. So the farm is called Finca El Limoncillo. It is owned by the Moresh family. The region is Matagalpa. Mental blocks. The farm is 171 hectares, of which 109 hectares are planted with coffee of lots of different varietals. It's an altitude of 1,200 metres above sea level. The particular varietal that we have this week is the longberry, and it's also processed using the washed processing system. And yeah, that's the coffee. So we also have the pulp natural and the natural available. I don't think we'll be doing in my mugs with those, but we have them there. So if you like it and you want to try the other methods, they are on the site in limited quantities. So I am going to whap you on pause. I'm going to go and make a V60. I'm going to make other tasty and delicious drinks, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so we're back. Straight into the espresso. No stirring device, so it's going to be hot espresso on your fingers, good. So, okay, so what I primarily get is what I get in the cupping bowl. So I get lots of apples and lots of pears. Very similar in lots of ways to the wash limoncillo, but the wash limoncillo doesn't quite have this pear thing going on. It doesn't have the complexity of acidity, and I think there's a more complex acidity there. What I don't normally get is I'm getting a real maltiness with it, like real malty kind of barley kind of taste to it, which I like. I like a lot. It's giving it some body. Normally with all of that acidity, it's a little bit thinner, but I really like that. So into the milk. Now, we'd only got 1% fat milk, so the steam didn't froth particularly well because there's not a lot of fat in there for it to hold its structure. But I think that's helped because it's not a big coffee. It's not it doesn't have that stickiness and the sweetness of, say, the washed limoncillo, which does work well in milk. It's a little bit more acidity, but this 1% milk has really worked well with it. Milk is something interesting that I wish I kind of learnt more about. So we're going to go into the V60. What's the V60? It's just a cone brewing method. I'll put it on there actually. Very similar to the Kalita in lots of ways. Have you got Kalita on there? No, Kalita must be coming up soon. But I'm not a massive fan of the V60, if I'm honest. I think Chemex does cone brewing much better. So you can see the little cone, so it brews into a point. The Kalita is a flat bottom brewing. I prefer the flat bottom brewing. I can't tell you particularly why. Lots of bulk brewers use flat bottom brewing, and I'm sure that they thought about it long and hard. It's not to say I don't like cone brewing, I just think the Chemex does a better job than the V60, and it's prettier. I think I do like this one because it's red. Also, it's plastic, so if you drop it, it doesn't break. They do ceramic ones as well, very similar to the other brewing methods. But yeah, that's the V60. So we should drink coffee. That's what we're here to do. And this is where I really like this coffee. I really like brewed coffee anyway. I'm a huge brewed fan, as you know. So this is just apple and pears. Apple and pears, it's lots of acidity, very complex. There's a shoulder, a floral in there, a little bit of flower, kind of like springy flavours, very, very, very aromatic coffee, which I should do the snozzer in the bowl actually, which reminds me. I've said it already, it's floral. You don't smell so much of the acidity because it's a lot harder to kind of get those aromas, but in there you do. But you do get the floral come through where you don't in the espresso so much. The maltiness is pretty much gone in the brewed. It isn't as predominant as it was in the espresso, but super complex. For me, this is like one of the coffees that doesn't get lots of love on the site because we obviously have a lot of limoncillos and it can get a little lost sometimes. But I think it's amazing, and I really hope that you like it too. It's a great addition to the range and a really cool coffee. So saying about lots of different limoncillos, we have some t-shirts which will be on the site from Tuesday. I'm going to show you on the screen now the design. This has been made for us by our friend at drawcoffee.com, I think it is. I'll find out the link and put it somewhere. But we've had these t-shirts made, and it talks about all the different varietals and all the different tastes and all the different flavours. I think it's a really cool t-shirt, and we're really looking forward to sharing that with you. That's going to be fun. So it's time for Descriptor Scale! Descriptor Scale! So this week's descriptor scale, and I refer you back to descriptor scale and pinboard of doom need you, because we only had 2 entries this week into descriptor scale, which I found very upsetting and distressing. But this one, the winner goes to Colin Morgan, who said, lovely gloopy texture in espresso, taste lingers it perfectly in the cappuccino. And that's his gloopy texture, his descriptor scale winner. And is there a reason why we've never heard of a lungo? We'll pass on that one. Love it, but not in the lungo. And I agree. So drop me an email, Colin. The prize is yours. And that was Descriptor Scale.
Descriptor Scale.
So it's time for the staff clip now. So this is a staff clip that is going to get me into a lot of trouble. It means that I won't have my tea cooked for the next month, nothing will get washed or ironed in the home, and I'll be sleeping in the spare room because it's my wife.
Sarah's order tip of the week.
Thank you very much for filling in your password on the new site. It's meant that I don't have to do anything at all anymore. But do remember, when you place your order, make sure that your postcode is correct. This can throw the system into turmoil.
Sarah's order tip of the week.
I think a very useful and informative tip. Well done, Sarah. I think that's very good. Now, on a serious note, some people put the wrong postcodes in on their addresses, and I worry that you don't know where you live, first of all, and you may get lost. So if you can, just make sure that your postcode's correct. But also when you press that button to place that order, it's really tough for us to go in and change anything because the system's been very much automated where it prints labels and prints invoices and prints address labels. And once they're in the big pile, it's very difficult to find your particular one. So do be careful when you press that button. If we have to, like I came in last Sunday and I searched through about 250 invoices from one batch to find somebody's who had made a mistake. But do let us know as soon as you possibly can if there is a mistake, and we will do our very best to sort it. But we can't promise because it's really tough. So well done, Sarah. So we should go on to the Pinboard of Doom. And the Pinboard of Doom this week is sent by Leanne Burgess. Going to show you a picture on the screen now of this beautiful Instagram-y type photo that Leanne has done. I think it's gorgeous, and she's using the Kalita too, so well done. And it was drinking El Salvador La Fane. So Leanne, absolutely brilliant Pinboard of Doom, thank you very much. But do remember, Pinboard of Doom needs you! It's paper flying everywhere today. So, numbers before we go, very quickly run down. The farm is Finca El Limoncillo. It is owned by the Maresh family. It is from Matagalpa. It has a farm size of 171 hectares, of which 109 is planted with coffee. Has an altitude of 1,200 metres above sea level. This particular varietal is longberry, but they also produce Caturra, they also produce Pacamara, they also produce Bourbon. The farm has a whole heap of stuff on there, and it's very, very interesting. And that's Limoncillo. Okay, wrap up, we're going, I'm out of here. Do remember, life is too short for bad coffee. I should make a song about this.